Hey, my darlings, and Merry Christmas to everyone. Love you all. Or Happy Starlight Celebration, rather. To think the Crystal Tower is the first is capable of such feats as sending one's soul into the distant past. The events you witnessed and helped shape may hold the key to forestalling the final days. I'm reminded of dear friends in a future I unmade, whose selfless efforts saw the 8th Umbral calamity averted. In this timeline, at least, too much has been sacrificed for us to abandon the Therius now. After sending Graha and Estinian back to Garlemald, I stayed in Locus Aminus for a time. Being an imperial province, it was already in turmoil before the onset of the final days. You wouldn't believe the difficulties we had in overseeing the evacuation of the villages we visited. I have faith in the detachment we left behind will continue our work and shepherd the people to safety. To what safety can be found in a world coming to an end? Master Matoya has suspected for quite some time that the Forum had been constructing a new facility for the purpose of surveying the Ethereal Sea. Of course, as the custodian of the Antitower, which you presumably rendered obsolete as a result, she has few things to say about that. Nothing that should be repeated in polite company, you understand? After you left for Garlemald, I went to Labyrinthios and tried to reach Heidelin using the Elpis flower. Alas, my attempts were in vain. I can only assume that she spent the vast amount of her power in the confrontation with Fandaniel and is presently unable to communicate. Indeed, as her presence left my body, I could feel how faint it had grown. I hope you don't mind me staying behind while you attend the meeting. The roster reminds me a bit too much of the scary tribunal in Isgard. You'll forgive me if I keep my distance. Father has granted us the opportunity we've been waiting for. Though we know not what information, if real, there's only one way to find out. To the rostra. Well, that was a much quicker response than I was expecting. Nice to know our efforts on the Magna Glacies didn't go unnoticed. At first I wasn't sure what to make of Hermes and his motives. But it's like we discussed at the Great Work. When faced with the harsh realities of life, some seek the release of death. Others grow defiant. They fight. Either way, it is our right to choose. 'Twas Heidelin's commandment that in event Zodiac should perish, the Loperites were to deliver the people of Aetherus from harm. Though that be the limit of their duties, they possess knowledge unparalleled to the great expanse, and the means of its traversal. Should they be persuaded to assist in our efforts to reach Meteon, we would do well to heed the counsel. The forum is in session, and as such, the roster is closed to visitors. A scion of the Seventh Dawn. Very well, you may wait in the corridor. Of course, entry will only be permitted on the conditions you leave your armaments at the door. Lest you forget, the sacred institution holds rational discord in the highest. The implements of war are expressly forbidden. I suggest you make your way inside. The forum takes a rather dim view of lateness. You are the Scions, yes? There is nothing more that I can tell you of the great exodus that you heard with the forum proclamation. Pray be on your way. Hey, helping now.
There is a matter I wish to raise with you before we enter. We are here to listen and to learn. But if the forum's plans are more or less what I expect, then I should like to make a proposal that will serve our ends. By your leave, of course.
I don't see why not. Your words and wits have gotten us this far. Agreed. I will present our queries so that you may consider the most advantageous way to advance your proposal without distraction.
Thank you, everyone.
If I may have your attention, the ad hoc session will now commence. The purpose of today's assembly is to brief the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, at their request, on the Great Exodus. You may enter. On behalf of the Forum, I commend your heroic actions on the Magna Glaciers. We shall not soon forget your service to us, and the people of Radz-at-Han. The Satrap, whom we have informed of the refugees' new arrangements, sings your praises as well. As an expression of our gratitude, we will endeavor to answer your questions as fully and openly as we are able.
Then let us begin. First, it is the Forum's objective to ferry the life and knowledge of this star to the moon. Am I correct?
You are. It is for this purpose that Charlian has labored these many long years. We have collected biological samples and scientific records from across the star. When the time comes, they will be moved from their places in Labyrinthos and Numenon and conveyed to safety. Once that critical task has been accomplished, we will begin transporting the Sharlayan citizenry, which has been categorized into groups. The earliest arrivals are to ensure hospitable environs for those who come after. Following our people, we will send those of other nations in turn, beginning with our allies. Radzat Han was foremost among these, but since the final days have already come to Thavnair, we saw fit to include the refugees with earlier groupings.
An ambitious plan. You have accounted for the safety of all nations and tribes, then?
As many as we can.
And how, pray tell, do you decide who to leave behind?
To journey beyond the sky is an unprecedented and immeasurably difficult endeavor. Introducing sources of inevitable conflict would condemn all to certain death.
Questions as to the validity of that approach aside, are your plans proceeding apace? We're under the impression that your primary means of celestial transportation is incomplete.
If only in that it does not meet our optimal parameters, that is correct. This Ark, as some have taken to calling it, is fully operational and could be launched even today. However, the final days have progressed more quickly than we anticipated. At present, the ship is incapable of attaining speeds sufficient to meet our evacuation targets. Should we put the vessel into service, as it is now, we will be unable to travel to the moon and back quickly enough to complete the necessary number of trips. Precious lives and knowledge will be lost.
Seven hells. Is there anything to be done?
The ether burner, the primary means of propulsion once the craft is in the space between stars, is undergoing testing to determine whether it can be made more efficient. Though cargo is being loaded for the initial phase of the Exodus, we are prepared to continue our experimentation up to the day before launch, should it prove necessary.
What if the Scions were to solve your problem? We shall help devise a means to improve the ether burner's efficiency, on two conditions. If we succeed, you must allow us to meet with Hydaelyn.
'Twas simple enough to deduce. You have a Concord, and so you would never have abandoned the Anti-Tower had you no other means of communication. One far more convenient, I suspect.
The second condition, also to be met upon our success, is that we be permitted to propose another use for your Ark.
We would be at liberty to refuse this proposal.
Of course. If we cannot prove its merit to the 99 here, who are we to stake on it the lives of all peoples of this star?
Delightful as always, Master Alfino. Oh, we couldn't have asked for a finer plan. Allow us to solve this complex engineering problem of which we were entirely unaware until moments ago. What could possibly go wrong? Satire writes itself. Yet, what field has not benefited from a change in perspective? When we are at wit's end, what we need is not the same dry theories recited ad nauseam, but fresh inspiration. I, for one, have faith in my erstwhile students to provide it, and I find their terms to be perfectly acceptable.
Order! Order! We have no time to waste on debate. I call a vote. All in favor of agreeing to the Scion's terms? "71 in favor, 28 against. The ayes have it. Fortuneau, as the architect of this project, you are the best candidate to show them its current state. And bear in mind that regardless of your personal misgivings, this is the will of the Forum.
Very well.
I call this session to a close. Return to your tasks with urgency. The final days wait for none.
assured. I have every intention of honouring the Forum's decision. My affinity for espionage may have earned me the title of Archon, but I was completely unaware of the Forum's plans. There may have been clues here and there that I had a mind to look for them, but contemplating that possibility only served to further ruin my pride. Not that anyone could have realistically summarized that brilliant stratagem was to build a giant ship, fly to the moon, a still larger vessel in truth, and use that to travel to another star. Even now, the whole idea seems positively absurd when spoken aloud. Of late, I have not seen no sign of the Loporrites. This being the first opportunity to experience the wonders of Charlayan, the potential for misadventure is nigh infinite. Perhaps if Midgard's was still alive, in the traditional sense, that is, he could have offered to help the vessel attain the necessary speeds. Then again, there is no guarantee his contribution would make enough of a difference to the matter. The further we pursue the mysteries of the universe, the more I struggle to comprehend the fortuitous nature of time itself. We measure and quantify it based on observations of celestial bodies, such as the sun and moon. But from your account, it is unclear whether the ancients viewed time in a similar manner. I mention this because, while Vena knew the final days would reoccur at a defined point in the future, she presumably had no way of knowing exactly when. Even so, the completion of the Forum's preparation to escape the moon, aligning so closely with the advent of the final days, is surely no coincidence. I'm a little vexed that we've yet to learn the Forum's replacement for the Antitower, though I expect in time they'll share that with us too, and with Master Matoya if they've any sense. Phew! I'll admit, bringing up the issue of the Forum's incomplete arc was more than a little daunting. They were, to their credit, quite open about the current state of affairs. What was even more surprising, though, was when he took Alphanid up on his offer. While I very much take issue with the Forum's approach to selecting whom to save and when, they're not wrong for wanting to minimize potential conflicts. Fortunately, if this plan of ours actually works, the Great Exodus itself will become entirely unnecessary. Sorry about not letting the rest of you in on my plan. I was admittedly thinking on my feet for the most part. But since we require both a means of communion with Hydaelyn and Vitri Meteon, in the spur of the moment I saw involving ourselves with the completion of the Ark as our way to work towards both objectives simultaneously. However, we must first keep our end of the bargain by solving the problem of the ether burner. I'd like to think it is not a challenge beyond our combined expertise, or at least the expertise of our extended circle of associates. It might behoove us to learn how an ether burner actually works before we attempt to improve it, though. We could get Sid and Nero to help. As Fowler seems so eager to help, maybe we could have him educated about the ether burner. Fortuna's ability to maintain a stiff upper lip is being sorely tested. As instructed, I shall take you to see the ether burner. Meet me outside the Archeon. I trust you can make your own way there. So the Ark is being built in Labyrinthios. Hardly surprising. Where else could they conceal such a massive undertaking? I don't understand the appeal of reshaping it to look like the world above. Make your peace with what it is, or go outside if that's what you prefer. That we have been granted permission to enter the lower levels is proof of our increased standing. Would that they have been so willing to confide with us sooner. Among the many varied documents sent to the moon, I did chance upon several inventories made in the Archeon. Mayhap the Forum believed such records would provide insight into the intricacies of clerical duties. Regardless, the Lopovites did not consider them worthy of more than a cursory glance. Where we were once a refused enemy, we're now welcomed as guests. It seems so long ago when we first set foot here. It has been many moons since I last visited Labyrinthos. As vast as the archives were back then, they've only continued to grow in the days since. Some would surely object to the Forum allowing foreign elements to have the run of their secret facilities. We should count ourselves lucky. Do they intend to carry everything in the Archeon to the moon? They said they started loading scientific records and biological samples, but do they really need all of it? Our destination lies in the lower levels. The Forum, in its wisdom, has granted you access to the Archeon's lift. Step inside and have Ophelion take you to the medical circuit. You wish to use a lift, yes? You wish to use a lift, yes? I have sent your associates ahead to Logisticon Alpha, on the other side of the Miral Ergonomics. Actually, there's something I have been meaning to... No, never mind. It can wait. Let us attend to the matter at hand. Things have certainly taken a turn for the chaotic, haven't they? Not that it affects my work, really, for until everything seems purpose fulfilled, we must keep it running. I've no idea how a Green is supposed to make ends meet when the world's in such a state like this. Not to presume over much, but you've an air of an outsider about you. If you're indeed new to the area, I'd be happy to help but answer any burning questions you might have. I'm a Sky Weaver. Now, I know what you're thinking, surely you mean Sky Watcher, but rest assured I do not misspeak. As you may have guessed, I do not watch the sky but weave it. We in Labyrinthius are not subject to the natural world's temptatious vagaries. Instead, we are subject to mine. So, should you like to keep things sunny, do not cross me. Here we have Logisticon Alpha, a facility designed for explicit purpose of controlling both air currents and environment's moisture content, thus allowing us to manipulate the weather itself. By releasing vapor from the underground waterways, we are able to form all manner of cloud, including those capable of producing precipitation. Air currents, meanwhile, are caused by large fan-like devices located on top of the facility. The specimens and materials located in Labyrinthius are of paramount importance, and it is critical we maintain an environment that supports their survival and longevity. Furthermore, this structure serves as the gateway to the central circuit, where our most highly classified research is conducted. Access to said area is restricted to those who have obtained express permission from the Forum. After all that waiting, the Green Air delivered a counterfeit? I'm hoping to have them refund me for the genuine article. But I worry that time is fast running out. My colleague was meant to help me transport some equipment, but he's still nowhere to be seen. Honestly, is he going to make me wait till the world's end? Oh, there you are. Have you words with Master Fortunate by any chance? Knowing the Forum, even the people working down here are probably kept in the dark about the purpose of this place. On our journey here, I was filled with an inexplicable sense of elation to see vegetables other than carrots being cultivated. Why, it near brought a tear to mine eye. We must be close to the central circuit, which is where the Charlayan's greatest secrets are held. If the tomes I pursued tell the whole story. The fields we pass along the way have brought back memories of Ferndale. Unfortunately, we were never blessed with such abundant crops. The further underground we go, the more surprises we find. I wonder what this place is actually for. We are to wait here while our father arranges for us to use the next lift. Here being Logisticon Alpha, where the atmospheric conditions of Labyrinthius are regulated. Water is drawn from underground and dispersed as vapor, stimulating the formation of artificial clouds and rain. By manipulating the temperature and air circulation, they are able to create the ideal environment for the growth and preservation of the biological samples kept here. Hold on. How do you know so much about it? My father brought me here as a child. What? Left me behind? Actually, you're the one who left me behind when you went off somewhere with grandfather. The night before, I'd been asking Father how clouds are made, and so he decided to show me. It was fascinating. I peppered him with questions the entire time. It is all too easy to take for granted the interweaving aspects of the natural world, to grow inured to the wondrous. But having gained an understanding of the complex mechanisms employed by the Loporrites in creating a similar environment, I have come to view such processes in a new light. The subterranean gardens of Labyrinthos, the lunar prison forged to contain the ancient Zodiac, the habitations built for all mankind beneath the moon's surface, each unique, yet undeniably similar. It is no mere coincidence. Ever since Heidelin unfolded to us the grim fate that awaits Aetherius, every essential resource we could spare has been delivered to Labyrinthos, in preparation for the great Exodus. But that is not all. It is also a testing ground for the technologies that will allow us to settle on distant stars. Though the Loporrites have endeavoured to make the moon inhabitable, that is not our final destination. Mankind must learn to propagate life where there is none, and to thrive where all is barren. Alas, time is not on our side. I have arranged for you all to enter the central circuit. It is there that most of our preparations for the great Exodus are carried out, the construction of the Ark among them. Though our plans have been made public access, remains highly restricted. You, however, will not be subject to said restrictions, and will have free rein to come and go as you please. Such was the will of the Forum, after all. We will prove ourselves worthy of their trust, your trust. Then let us proceed. By decree of the Forum, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn are permitted to enter the central circuit. The temperate environment here is not unlike that of Beastway's Burrow, though the diverse vegetation doth produce a far more complex bouquet of aromas. A welcome difference indeed, for I have grown weary of the scent of carrots. I have no idea what makes Alphinaud so confident we can solve this problem of theirs. Relentless optimism, I presume, a not unwelcome trait in a youth, but less so in a gamble, aye. Let us resolve never to let him set foot in the gold saucer. I imagine the secrets kept here would be of great benefit to thy known research, but I will refrain from indulging my curiosity for the time being. farther down we travel, the more expensive the sky above becomes, artificial though it is. Would that the heavens elsewhere could be so idyllic. Please tell me we're almost there, or there's another underground level we have to reach. The even more central circuit, perhaps. This is it, the central circuit. We might finally have the chance to commune directly with Heidelin, providing we somehow manage to see to where Charlene's finest engineers have failed. Still, it won't hurt to have a look. The sooner we can get a look at this ether burner of theirs, the sooner we can start working out how to improve it. The ether burner is being constructed not too far from here. Overseeing the work is Kokol, Dekol, after whom the forge is named. Once the necessary introduction has been made, I shall leave you with him to discuss the particulars. This way. Well met, traveller. Met entry in Troop Force for... I didn't tell you the first visit. I shall update the register so you may access the location. Surely the Forum hath already petitioned the aid of the Loperites, given their familiarity with such technologies. I was expecting the Sky Seal manufacturer, but instead I find the village smithy. While many of the faculties within the central circuit seem to be visible from the upper levels, the more secretive work must be carried out behind closed doors. He hasn't even realized we're here, or perhaps he hasn't realized but he just doesn't care. For a closely guarded secret, you can see practically everything from outside, even with the magic barrier surrounding it. Is he talking to himself? He looks lost in thought, although maybe he's found something of a stumbling block? Perhaps you'd like to break the ice.
I could swap them out. No, been there, done that. Damn near lost my eyebrows. Think, Coco, think! We'd be well on our way to paradise. Visionaries patting themselves on the backs for their grand accomplishments if you'd only think!
Yes, that does sound rather lovely.
Yeah! I mean, Master Force, you know, what a pleasant surprise. We're not blasting off already, are we?
The schedule remains unchanged, for better or worse. Which is why the Forum has elected to accept assistance in resolving the ether burner conundrum.
Huh. Not seen you lot down here before.
There are Archons among their number, but engineering is not their expertise. Nevertheless, the Forum concedes the slim possibility that they may have insights to offer. If not, you are at liberty to return them to the surface, by whatever means you see fit.
I assure you that won't be necessary. Now, about your troubles with the ether burner.
Aye, aye, I'll walk you through it. Suppose I could do with a change of pace. As the name ought to tell you, the ether burner burns ether, ambient or otherwise, and transforms it into motive force. Think of it like a giant bomb that never stops exploding. Even out in that black void where the ether's right sparse, it's strong enough to move our arc. And it probably won't kill you like an actual bomb. But it ain't perfect. According to my calculations, to travel to the moon and back fast enough for the Forum's liking, the conversion rate needs to be 6% more efficient.
6?
A measly 6%, you say? But if I could have squeezed even another 0.6 out of it, don't you think I'd have built it that way in the first place?
Hast thou consulted with the Loperites?
Yes, they too are conducting their own research, for lack of a ready answer. The moon's propulsion systems are considerable, naturally, yet they are commensurately massive. It is no easy feat to convert their technology into an efficient means of propulsion for a teeny tiny toy boat, as they say, and as I most certainly do not.
Yes, exactly! Damn it all, I asked for refined adamantite and they send me uppity rabbits with inscrutable, ancient, incompatible technology! You're trying to drive me mad!
Do you speak of Allegan refined adamantite, perchance?
You know of it?
Only in the most general terms, I'm afraid. 'Twas an alloy of Allagan make, but the secrets of its production were closely guarded. As I recall, the record stated it was vital to Dalamud's construction and launch.
Aye, that's the stuff. No material more conductive far as I know. Slotting some ends like blowing up a dam and watching the river of Aoife come rushing through. Ain't a living soul that knows how to make it, though. We were fortunate enough to salvage some for the Aoife burner, just a wee bit, mind, from a chunk of Dalamud that came hurtling into the Northern Empty during the calamity. With more, well, that extra 6% efficiency will be child's play. It's a crying shame that we've no other sources.
Surely the many shards of Dalamud scattered throughout Eorzea would suffice. Why not get the refined adamantite from them?
Oh, we tried, believe you me. But only a few specialised pieces would have had any in them to begin with. Drive calls from Ragnarok-class internment hulks. Those are the prize bits we really need. According to the Gleaners, getting to them means delving deep into the shards. And the defences are still very operational and very eager to blow them up. It's rough going in there, even for the Cream. Not sure they'd make it out alive.
Weren't we near that part of the Ragnarok when we went to destroy Bahamut?
You want me to go and fetch the Watsits?
That may be for the best, though you doubtless find the task too dull for your liking.
There are multiple internment hulks in Eorzea alone, so handling this ourselves may not be the most efficient option. Rather, if we could salvage adamantite from the shards simultaneously... Thancred, is the link shell we established before you went to Garlemald still active?
Of course. The floor is yours.
What's all this?
Gathering firewood, so to speak. We alone can accomplish little, but joined by others, we may yet build a bonfire to carry us heavensward. This is Alphino. The Scions have need of you.
Understood. I will contact the Lord Commander and dispatch our finest at once.
My sisters are somewhat preoccupied with the final days, so I will lead the 12-Sword expedition myself.
Are you aware of any other sources of refined adamantite?
Logically, such an invaluable alloy would have been utilized solely where absolutely necessary, in components intended to conduct or collect surpassing amounts of ether. Any extant instrumentation or devices would have likely found their way into the hands of etherologists, or enthusiasts.
Magical artifacts of Allagan design? The Eastern Alliance will send word to one and all. Are there other ways we may offer aid? No shards of the Lesser Moon scar our soil, but our stake in this cause is no less for it.
Is there anything in Othard that might be of use to you?
What did you say? Oh, you got friends in far places, lad. Anyway, if you're offering, I wouldn't say no to one of those Far Eastern sacred relics. Some of them can hold enough ether to summon a whole damn primal. Combine a source like that with the ether burner, and 3, 2, 1, kaboom!
I gather you heard his explosive enthusiasm. Might you secure us a suitable relic?
It shall be done. I know little of machines, but I promise we will do our utmost to gather the materials you need to finish your starship. I am glad for the work, in truth. Better to busy oneself than wait and fret over disasters foretold.
Then why are we all still standing about yapping? There's plunder for the taking, and I'm a born plunderer. I'll be an old Charlian before you know it. Start mixing the grog.
I'm certain that can be arranged. Thank you all, and do be careful.
Just like that.
Aye, just like that. Our refined adamantite is on its way. Now let us consider our next steps, shall we? There's yet much to be done.
I know that you're proud of him. Appreciate you doing this, but I ain't getting me hopes up just yet. There are no oaths or contracts binding the members of the Ilsabar contingent in many ways. It was even loosely organized in the Crystal Braves. Nevertheless, I knew none would refuse this call to arms. Truly we have been blessed with trustworthy and dependable allies. Time and time again, it seems that Allegan something or other are either the cause or the solution to our problems. To think the self-same materials that once launched Dalamont will be now used to ferry mankind to the moon. There's a poetry in that. I'm confident that even the deadliest of Allegan defense mechanisms are no match for ours. At this rate, some of them might soon have accomplishments to their names as a certain warrior of light. Considering how much of a fuss he made at the time, I don't see why he takes every opportunity to bring it up. It was just firewood. First the Teflari and now the final days. Heh! No one can accuse the Ilsabar contingent of backing down from a challenge. Of course, they weren't also committed to the cause when we first set out. But seeing the example set by you, Alphanod and others, the change was palpable. They couldn't help but believe. What serendipitous irony that the remnants of the seventh umbral calamity will be the keys to mankind's salvation. Never more certain have I been that Master Louis will watch over us from the ethereal sea. Though Bahamut is long ago, the intermittent hulks are still far from safe. It could be much worse, of course. They won't have to fight their way past Merciadine dragons, nor is there any danger the Elder Primal might be summoned again. Even so, I dare say there are still a few Allegan creations and contraptions remaining to bar our friend's way. I only hope that Grandfather watches over them. It's times like these we're reminded of how famous or infamous Alphanid's become. Who'd have thought he could achieve so much with such a single link pearl conversation? As if we're expecting a lot of visitors in the near future, I'd best return to the surface and inform the relevant parties. I also have a contract of my own that might be worth a try. Oh? And who might that be? That's for me to know and you to find out. And on that note, I leave matters here in your capable hands. Best of luck.
Our course of action is clear. We must harvest refined adamantite from the shards of Dalamud and procure arcane relics of Allagan make. Summon the best and brightest of our immortal flames and form an expeditionary party at once. Call upon the Salt and Sworn and Brass Blades for support as you must. Papashan, send word to the guilds. We will require the expertise of master artisans if we are to have any hope of identifying and recovering these elusive materials. Viergeist, we have need of your stone torches. They are to assist the immortal flames in scouring the ruins and to help secure the surrounding areas. I trust I can count on your support.
As commander of the Stone Torches, my son Zimberk will personally see it done.
Pippin, I would have you lead the raiding party. Assemble your finest, and with Tizona's blade clear the way. Lord Lolorito, I pray you take charge of the search for Allagan relics. Surely you know of some being traded on open or clandestine markets, or sleeping in collectors' vaults. Of course, I ask not that you do this out of the kindness of your heart. By all means, profit on the transactions. I wish you the joy of it. The final days descend upon our world. If circumstances are truly as dire as they say, Uldar's best efforts may be for naught. And yet, when we Eorzeans rose from the ashes to rebuild our broken realm, did we not learn one simple truth? That which seems all but impossible to overcome alone may yet be possible if we stand together. It was the Scions who united us then, and it is the Scions who call upon us now. Uldar will answer that call. We will summon our courage and join the fight for our world's future. You know your duties. I, Nanamo Ulnamo, 17th in the line of Ul, bid you good luck and Godspeed.
We've fielded a goodly number, but our ranks are heavy with healers, and an abundance of restorative magics will be of little help in destroying Dalamud's defenses. Still, it has ever been thus with Gridania. We must steel ourselves for a protracted engagement.
In that case, might I suggest taking us along?
Commander Hext, what are you doing here?
None of the shards in Girabania are big enough to hold an internment hulk. So we said to ourselves, why not lend our neighbours a hand? We thought you might be short on people with a talent for breaking things.
While it pains me to admit it, you are right. Are our deficiencies so plain to see?
It might have been a lifetime ago, but I was once one of the scions assigned to the Shroud. I know this forest well. I know your people. And I know we will be stronger if we fight this fight together.
Then I will impose upon you with a clear conscience. Come, let us speak of how to integrate our forces.
I won't let it all be for nothing. I promise you, Papalimo.
There you are! We've no time to waste, brother. Everyone has already... A roar! A dragon's roar!
And so, in summation, the Eastern Alliance, as well as the Honourable Lord Lolorito himself, reached out to me for assistance in procuring these treasures of the divine, and I, in turn, do beseech the Confederacy for aid. Is that...
Hancock? What a surprise this is. And a fortuitous one at that. I have a favor to ask, you see.
You. Half nod is resisting the urge to pat himself on the back. Though our friends are searching for refined adamantite and sacred relics, we will only know if they meet your requirements once they've arrived. In the meantime, there is aught else we can do that might be of service? Ha! You've already done more than enough. If I had to say so, I could use someone who knows a thing or two about Allegan technology. You there, lad with the red eyes and matching hair. You seem to know more than the average scholar. Ha! If only Master Kirkle knew how right he was. While he and Graha established a report, why don't we help with preparations for the Great Exodus? Indeed, this would mean going above and beyond the terms of arrangement, but I propose this not to curry favour. As confident I am that we shall succeed, we must be ready for every eventuality. This would be an opportunity to familiarise ourselves with the logistics of traversing the great expanse, and if nothing else, it beats twiddling our thumbs while we wait for the adamantite. Oh, ain't you a bunch of helpful buggers? If your mind's led to hand, I know where you ought to go. Shirley and Hamlet is lousy with researchers and scholar types, busy themselves preparing for the Exodus. Ha! That lot need to get all the help they can get. Well then, off we go. I shall endeavour to provide Master Coco with whatever information he should require. I'll admit, without refined adamantite, I ain't got a bloody clue how else I could get the afterburner performing any better. If you lot don't come up with the goods, we're buggered. Am I asked to be believed? Elita Draconia in the flesh? Why, I've read all about you in the memoirs of Count Edmund of Four Temps, but never did I dream this day would come. Somebody pinch me! No. If we do that, there's a chance the mechanism won't function at all. We best rethink the design from scratch. Just checking to make sure everything is of acceptable quality. I make a point of rejecting anything that doesn't meet my standards on the spot. It's getting a bit late, so I'm going to be heading up to bed soon. I wish you all good night, sweet dreams, and a Merry Christmas, Starlight celebration, however you celebrate. Love you all. Take care. Good night.